So when we first came across you, we noticed, I mean, what we were drawn to is you had some awesome images of a political satire, I guess you would call it, of Trump already. Have you been into politics and art for a long time, or were you like just the last 4 years really drove you into it?
I've always kind of felt like it's important to, if not political, social work or social commentary pieces. More so, obviously, recently because there's more to highlight. I think that's kind of the role as a visual artist, is to highlight the times. Like images are very fleeting, so a lot of the artists who do really well in the main stage, they get to the topic quickly. If there's an illustration they want to come up or an idea that they want to create, it's a really good tool. Illustration or image making is a really good tool to say a lot with a very short window of time. People will just look at an image and can read pretty deep into it about what you're trying to say and what your beliefs are. So yeah, I wouldn't say that it's, the last 4 years have been more. There's more to go around and more to push back against. I mean, if it were up to me, I would love to just make weird monster characters and, just be a little bit more easygoing and not have to do it. But I feel like it's kind of the role. If I'm able to create these images, why not use this time and that voice to do something that maybe makes a difference or helps, spark a conversation, makes change, or just encapsulates my pushback about the things I think are wrong.
You're kind of touching on the idea that you feel that it's kind of your responsibility as an artist, in a way it sounds like. And whether some people contribute their time via protesting or other people contribute their money or whatever to causes, as an artist, we can create stuff, right, that hopefully makes an impact, which is obviously the goal here. How would you say over the last 4 years, I mean, when Trump was elected, were you like, oh, the world's like falling apart? Like, were you like, the sky is falling, the sky is falling?
I think in 2016, before he was elected, I did one of my most popular pieces, which was Trump as a Hitler type illustration poster piece. And I was hoping that I was blowing it up out of proportion. Yeah. I was really hoping that I was overstepping my bounds on what I assumed may happen.
Was that before the election?
Before, yeah.
Like while he was running?
While he was running, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think even at the time I thought, like a lot of us did, it was such a long shot that he would win. Not entirely, obviously, but it didn't seem likely. And I thought, if that was the case, we would end up with just the worst of people's failures, just the racism, the things that he's represented and put out. This cheap, tacky, fake wealthy, racist, just garbage man. I put that out, and a lot of people called me an alarmist, and I had to stop friend requests on Facebook. I got a lot of hate, like a lot of hate speech constantly. Yeah. And unfortunately, so much of that particular piece has come true. I mean, it was like if you look at it now, there's his attacks on journalism, there's attacks on women, there's attacks on the Muslim community. I didn't know what kind of flavor that Gatorade of hate would make, but I think it was pretty spot on, at least to what we're dealing with currently. So yeah, I mean, there was the opportunity that it presented by making political work and creative stuff, so that I could kind of push back a little bit in the beginning because we didn't know what the extent would be. Yeah. But since then, I've made a ton of pieces either relating to Trump or the GOP or just offensive, circumstances that we find ourselves in.
And also a lot of Black Lives Matter stuff, like this last year, like social justice kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been making that kind of work for a long time. I think that the people catching up to Black Lives Matter You know, it's the floodgates kind of opened with George Floyd, but where were they for Tamir Rice? And where were, you know, like when you go back into it, like none of this is new. People in the Black community know it's not new.
Were you making art back then for some of those?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Or just pieces that were in line with my kind of social beliefs. Like I made pieces. I made political pieces when Obama was running. You know, they're not good. They're years before my skill level kind of caught up. Not to say that they're entwined, but like to do social pieces or to do political pieces or pieces that are about what I want to represent my mentality to be about. That's nothing new, at least in my catalog. If I can make those pieces and they get some traction and maybe sell prints, I then donate. Like, so I did the Black Lives Matter poster print and some Juneteenth pieces, and then everything that we sold on my website, all the proceeds were then donated to charities. So in lieu of me having the money to give as much as I'd like to give to the causes I support, I could create a piece that people then can order and enjoy because it supports that same message. And then I didn't make any money off of any of those pieces, but that wasn't the intention to do so.
Yeah.
And I was able to give more in donation because of that than I would have otherwise. I think that's a really good use of an artist's craft. Use it because, we are in a capitalist society where everybody wants a new poster and shirt and everything. And I'm not above that either. So if you're able to make art that is empowering, and then those, any revenue you make off that, you can then put back into the cause. It seems like a really wise use of that talent or that ability to do that.
Yeah, totally. That's great to hear. And it's interesting that, like, right when I was writing that piece, when I first scored it out, because I scored it in 2016. I composed it, but I didn't actually get it. I didn't want to deal with it. It was too abrasive and like aggressive, and I had a bunch of other stuff I was working on. But when the end of last year was coming around, I was like, man, I need to finish this before the election. So like I started the production on it then, but I wrote it all back when he was running, almost exactly the same time as that initial. It's funny how we were like kind of aligned with our alarmism back then. Do you feel that it shifted, like it just kind of ended up being as bad as you thought it would be, or worse?
I think it's become bad in ways maybe I hadn't anticipated. The coronavirus threw a wrench in the system, but it also highlighted a lot of the things that were there the whole time. What I think is one of the only benefits of what's going on is that his vitriol and his just disgusting nature and some of his worst supporters have empowered people to stand up and go against it, and made people more political, made people more socially conscious. And, the fact that there are, baby boomer moms with Black Lives Matter signs now, but they weren't, 30 years ago. I think that it's been beneficial for that. I think it's real bad. It could get worse, and it could get a lot better. But it's uncomfortable as all hell. It's really depressing that some of the things that we're talking about, some of the things that we're fighting for, are still things we have to talk about and fight for. So
yeah, and that's not going to be stopping anytime soon.
Yeah,
you have to try to replenish yourself and prepare for a long haul.